Hello, 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 and welcome to Illusion Fox Gaming. So today, or maybe not today, but at this time, we are going to do the video of So Long and Thanks for All the Fish. Nice little book reference for, what was it, book 4 in Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series? Sispo needs your help with an emergency. God, this is unbelievable. According to the age-old adage, when the going gets tough, the tough go fishing. Unfortunately, the adage is of little use when the tough going happens to be a fishing ban. You haven't heard, have you? Has closed all docks and ports for fishing vessels on the authority of Admiral Mayor Webb. Some starry sailors supposed to spot a serpent scene, so stated that for our safety, all our service must cease. It's also pressing. Well, we may be a group of sedentary fishers, but we're not about to take this sitting down. Calm down, calm down. First, we'll need to know what we're up against. The Brigadier Concern maintains ties to the Maelstrom, so Sybil may know something we do not. It's time to go fishing for information. It's certainly a pleasure to see you again, though I wish it were under happier circumstances. The news came as a shock to us as well. Any Lumenson who's ever boarded a boat has heard the tale, back when this world was not but a dry, lifeless rock. Lamellin created a giant serpent from its massive maw. The creature spat forth water until the land was filled. But would not stop to prevent the world from being completely submerged. The navigator trapped the serpent in a floating island with the warning that if it were ever to be freed, the seas would rise until the world ended. This is from the thalassocrastic motto, till sea swallows all. Comes Admiral surprised upon learning a sailor claims to actually have seen the serpent in question. While you and I may recognize it as a fairy tale aimed to scare children, the panic in the streets is real, and so Slafferson has any choice but take drastic measures in order to maintain the peace. Regrettably, those drastic measures have dire consequences for both your guild and my consortium. And the Maelstrom is too occupied with the ship inaugurations to conduct a proper inquiry, meaning our only hope is to take matters into our own firm yet supple hands. Ahem. It may be impossible to prove the sea serpent does not exist, but perhaps the testimony of the eyewitness could be impugned. I believe was met the sailor responsible for the sighting, the one known as Chucharon. Oh, this guy. Chucharon sees big fish at sea, some say sea serpent. Chucharon just want to fish, or want fish to fish. Sea fishermen will all go about fishing fish in sea. I've seen enough at sea to know when sailors are seeing things, and what Chucharon saw was no sea serpent for sure. Missing your marks will make mountains out of molehills, distances deceive, and delude the minds of men at sea. My money says your serpent is a Maslea marlin, a fairly big fish, but by no means a monster. You can see them barreling back and forth along the north blood shore. But aside from the shore, people will just shrug their shoulders. You need to make them meet that marlin up close and personal. I'll admit it's easier expressed than executed, and I've never nabbed one. If you don't loosen up your line, they'll rip your rod right out of your hands. But first you need a bite. They don't waste their breath on worms from other waters. Demand mooching, more familiar to you as fish wheeling perhaps. And not just any means of mooching, but the daunting duty of the dramatic double mooch. I reckon you're ready for it. Get a goby ball and haul in a harbor herring. Once you've hitched your herring, offer it up to an ogre barracuda, then bait that beast to make the Maslea marlin bite. Makes me want to sail out myself, but would only slay any guildmaster who slights them. Besides, I'm sure Sisyphus would sooner you succeed at it. So... so Goby Ball. I do not have any Goby Balls. I would assume that I can probably come up here and buy some. I'm assuming. Wrong person. Wrong side. there we go. Looks like they gotta be in here somewhere. North Bloodshore. That would be Costa del Sol, I would think? Well, this would be North Bloodshore. Or this would be the Bloodshore, I don't know whether... Do I have that in my fishing log? No. Okay. Okay, okay. So, we got our bait set. Got our skills ready. I forgot I should probably use patience on this. There we go. So quick. Oh, here's hoping that we got what we're after here. So that'd be pretty damn quick. But that's pretty good. And it was. No, that was a large one. So there we go. Now I gotta go deliver it. I mean, not bad for basically second attempt. I can't believe we're reduced to this still. While Walga's never been right for running a guild, he's never been wrong about a fish. If he says our serpent is a Maslea marlin, that's what it is. That's the marlin. I can see how some might mistake it for a monster. Hopefully Sasfarin will see it as the same. Come, Sybil will arrange for us to speak with the Grand Storm Marshal. This sounds like Persona music. So many moons has it been, I can scarcely remember the last time I boarded a merchant ship for anything other than an inspection. Quite comfortable indeed above the luxurious fleet of the Brugere Consortium, no doubt to put crooked mongers and traffickers at ease while making illicit deals at sea. Perish the thought, we would never dream of calling the Grand Storm Marshal a vessel where such roguery took place. A shame, I'd imagine those sort of vessels were the most fun. I suppose we'd then best tend to business? Of course, sir. Allow me to introduce to you the Maslea Marlin. Great Lemelon's ghost. The blurry thing is massive. How did you catch it? Oh, I suppose it doesn't matter. At any rate, is your contention that this marlin is our sea serpent? You can swing yourself to sleep with that silly sea serpent story, but it still won't hold water. I knew things were proceeding too smoothly. You always know just the wrong time to act the guildmaster, don't you? Never mind, I've known Woggle enough not to mind his manners. Unlike his fish, I know when I'm being baited. Boy, you've been baiting bullying us with your band. Will you let up and lift it? A fine question. To lift the fishing man or to not lift the fishing man? What to do, what to do, what to do. On one hand, I could lift the band, but on the other... Now, who's the one baiting? Why not, of course. Our familiars must deserve, so I'm afraid that the declaration will have to wait until the morrow. And the ban will be lifted, won't it? Unless you'd prefer it weren't. By no means, it's just I feared that simply bringing you a large fish might fail to serve as adequate evidence in overturning a formal military promulgation. Well, I never really believed you all this sea serpent silliness in the first place. It was more about putting Lemonson's minds at ease than anything else, and the marlin you brought me should accomplish just that. A few of our more paranoid conspiracy theorists in the Maelstrom allege the serpent to be part of an elaborate Sahagin plot, so this should make for a nice laugh at their expense as well. And to think, this all started because someone spotted a large fish. And because fishtails are wont to grow in size, the large fish became serpent size and then ceased to be a fish altogether. It makes you wonder about what other sorts of overblown fantasies we've all been led to believe. It sounds like you were ready to lift the ban whether we brought you the marlin or not. If only it were that simple. A fine Grand Storm Marshal I'd be if I went lifting bans willy-nilly without any evidence the problem has been solved. This marlin is essential to assuaging the irrational fears of the public. Well, I suppose Illusion's efforts weren't for naught, but after all, I only wonder how the fishtail grew out of proportion in the first place. I don't delight in delving into details, but that deed might have been my doing. Why am I not surprised? When I mentioned to Chutron that the Mazalian marlin was a monster, I meant it metaphorically, but mayhap he misunderstood. I think it'll be in the best interest of all involved if I don't hear any more of this story. The Maelstrom expresses gratitude for your efforts in bringing this evidence to light. Your guild will be notified when the fishing ban is formally lifted. I bid you good day. Terrifying to think a little exaggeration get out of hand, particularly when you consider how often fishermen exaggerate. But it sounds like Slufferson knew something was fishy all along. Nevertheless, you saved our guild from destruction at the hands of an imaginary sea serpent. Funny how Ninmaluka delivered you to our doorstep just when we need you most. And I certainly can't consider you a guppy anymore now that you've caught a marlin the Guildmaster himself never quite reeled in. I'd say we name you the Guildmaster, but then we'll go to have nothing to dodge, and I'm not ready to let that fish off the hook so easily. But I suppose we could at least let him know he has a rival. And that might be your finest fishing accomplishment of all, luring Wago back to work. And there we go. That was, so long, and thanks for all the fish. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed these videos so far. We'll continue to do them, as well as all other Final Fantasy XIV content and everything else. And, well, there's also our daily streams. We stream from 12 a.m. Eastern to about 3 a.m. Eastern pretty much every night. So long as I'm mentally and emotionally up to it. I hope to see you all there sometime. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.